Hello, everyone. Today I'd like to share with you a story called Waters Too Deep. Baby Cheryl loved to go to summer camp for 2 weeks every summer at Camp Douglas Long, Girl Scout camp. She was so excited to get ready to go. For 2 weeks, she would be able to spend time with her friends from her troop and be with girls from all over the city. It was an exciting time. She was ready to go out into the coolness of the wooded area of Camp Douglas Long, away from the city. And even though it was only 20 minutes away from downtown Greensboro, Camp Douglas Long was like a different world. And when her parents dropped her off there, it was like they had turned down this long, long drive into another place, a different world. She always wondered, would her friends be there, and would the girls that she had met at summer camp last year be there? Who would her counselor be? Where would they live? But she was always ready to go, but she had to figure out how she was going to get all of her things together and how all of the things that she needed to take were going to fit in her bedroll. So she took the plastic and laid it out very carefully. Then she put on her blankets and her bed sheets, and then she layered her clothes just so, and all the other necessities and toiletries, not forgetting her Girl Scout handbook. She folded the plastic and the bedclothes in from the long side into the middle, and then rolled it as tight as she could to the other end. Then, securing it with a rope and leaving a handle to carry it, she was ready to go, ready to have a great adventure. Now, I'll say that Baby Cheryl wasn't really a baby anymore. She had just been called Baby Cheryl all her life, and her family continued to call her that, the Baby Cheryl, and it just kind of stuck. But when she was saying goodbye to her family, she did feel a little bit like a baby as she wiped away the tears from her eyes. But she knew she was going to have a great time because she was a Girl Scout through and through. She loved the Girl Scout oath. On my honor, I will try to do my duty to God and my country, to help other people at all times, to obey the Girl Scout laws. So she was ready to go. And when she got there, she loved all of the songs that they sang. She wears a G for good old glory. She wears an I for interest too. She wears an R for real life sportsmanship. She wears an L for loyalty, She wears an F for her sincerity. She wears a C for courtesy, She wears an O-U-T for outdoor life, you bet. She's a real Girl Scout. And she loved all the rounds like make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. And they would gather around the campfire and sing those songs like rise up, oh flame, by the light's glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy. And they would sing all those beautiful songs over and over. But the one that she loved the best was the one that they sang at morning devotion. And they would go out to this quiet place in the woods, and they would sit in a semicircle, and they would sing all together. We come to thee. I forgot. We meet again within our green cathedral. Among the trees we come to worship thee. We bring to thee a heart that's full of giving, a vision fair, for thou hast made us see. Within this hour of quiet meditation, we bring to thee our loyal hearts and true. We leave this place as thou dost in the evening, as silently as comes the close of day. And they would leave that sacred place with such reverence and keep that song and the melody in their hearts to keep just a sense of peace all through the day. But baby Cheryl loved all the activities. The days were filled with fun and adventure and just great times. And she loved recreation, making those landers out of those long strips of plastic and doing all of the other kinds of activities. She loved the recreation, going swimming. Now, swimming was a fun thing, but it was also a little bit of a challenge. And this year, instead of the swimming pool, they were swimming in a lake. And because the swimming pool was under repair. So their camp counselor, Tony, called the girls all over and was going to give them some instructions for swimming in the lake. She got out some boogie boards and gave it to the ones who needed it to be able to make it to the other side of the lake. So baby Cheryl excitedly got her boogie board and waded into the water with the other girls. And they were excited and they held out the boogie boards or swam all the way across. And they were just excited as the sun came down and it was nice and filtered through the trees and it was warm on their skin and the water was just silky, silky smooth as they went over to the other side. They played, they giggled, they thrashed about, had such a great time. All too soon though, Tony blew the whistle, time to come back across the lake. So baby Cheryl grabbed her boogie board and she held it out in front of her and she set off to go to the other side. But she got a little bit tired about halfway there and she had forgotten about the fact that Tony had warned them there was a hole in the middle of the lake and they should be very careful. So she stopped to rest a bit and she expected that her feet were going to hit the bottom and she would rest and catch her breath. But to her surprise, when she stopped, she couldn't feel the bottom. She just kept going down, 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 until she finally felt her feet on the bottom, but the water was well over her head. So she pushed as hard as she could. She came back up, and in her desperation, she forgot that you can't jump onto a boogie board and go that way. It wasn't made to work that way. It wasn't made to hold your weight. So the boogie board sank as well, and she sunk down, down, down again. And she pushed with all her might, and she came up. And the strange thing was that she kept going down, and she come back up, and then the third time she came up, she strangely felt a little embarrassed that she was about to drown in this lake. But desperation and that survival instinct kicked in, and embarrassment went to the side. And although she didn't want to call out, she felt compelled to call out, "Help!" All the other girls had gone ahead of her, and so they didn't know that she was in trouble. So she called out, "Help!" And then she could see them over on the shore, and she saw them jump to their feet and start waving frantically at Tony, the counselor, to come help baby Cheryl because she was in trouble. So as baby Cheryl had thrashed about so much by then, she had actually gotten up out of the hole and was on solid ground again. And she said, gasping, I'm okay. And she walked and staggered her way out of the hole, still feeling shaky, still feeling a little embarrassed about what had happened. But being the good Girl Scouts that her friends were, they all rushed into the water with towels and hugs and comfort for baby Cheryl. That night, when she laid in her bed, she was like, I don't know if I can get back in that lake again. I don't know. But there was something in her. She was a good Girl Scout. And her friends were good Girl Scouts, and they encouraged her to get back in the water. This time, when Tony passed out the boogie boards, baby Cheryl held it out in front of her the right way and safely crossed over, played, and came back. When her parents came to pick her up two weeks later, the rest of the camping trip had been smooth sailing from that time on. And baby Cheryl had a great tale to tell them about how she and her fellow Scout campers had conquered the deep waters too deep at Camp Douglas Long.